Joining us on the phone on Indiana in the Morning, presented by First Commonwealth Bank, is Adrian Escalona, the young man from Blairsville who is making good with his television premiere coming up today. But Adrian, thank you very much for taking time out of a very busy schedule to join us here on the show.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm very excited.
Now, we know that you have been performing on stage in Blairsville for a lot of the stuff, and you've also got the chance to perform on Broadway. But now you're jumping to television. Tell us about what you're going to do on TV.
Well, of course, this is my first professional job, so I'm super nervous about it. But it's just like any other acting thing. I just get there, I get into character, and I just do my thing. So definitely, I found it my new passion. But I can't wait for everybody to see the magic that me and my friends made on screen.
Now we should mention the show. It is Head of the Class,
Yes.
which is a reboot of a sitcom that I remember watching back in the '90s. So talk to me about what it's like to work on the set of a TV show and how it's different from working in the theater.
It was definitely a big learning curve for me. Of course, obviously, I've never done anything like that before, but once you get used to all the cameras and the lighting and the busyness of behind the scenes stuff, it really boils down to it's just acting. And the style that the show is filmed in is very similar to musical theater and acting of plays and stuff. So it was pretty easy for me to step into it, into the acting part. But it's definitely a really cool experience to see how the show really comes together in the end and see the process from start to finish.
So was this show done in front of an audience like the original show was?
Unfortunately, due to the pandemic, it was not, and that definitely posed some challenges considering we really didn't have like the audience to play off of. We didn't hear a lot of laughs. It was usually just the crew. But I think that gave us a lot more wiggle room to really like get to know each other more and like be more open with like off take stuff, just like messing up and talking to each other. So I think although it posed a challenge, it was still easy to pull through and pull together.
Talk about the character you get to play on the show.
My character's name is Miles Alvarez. He is introverted, overthinking, but he's smart. And as the season goes on, he really finds his personality and his voice. He tends to psych himself out, but he ends up learning to be more open to trying new things. And he has a sharp tongue. He's super witty, but I think he's a great fit for me. It was easy to step into the character, and I made great friends with Miles, if you could say. And he's easily relatable.
Mhm.
So yeah, I really enjoyed playing Miles.
So how much of you is in Miles in his character?
There's plenty of me in Miles. I doing character analysis and stuff. I learned that there were a lot of similarities between him and I, and watching the show now, I see a lot of myself in Miles, and I'm very thankful for that.
Did you get to watch any of the original sitcom as kind of a lead up or research as a part of your research into this role?
Yes, I did watch a couple episodes just to get a feel for the vibe and like kind of the premise of what the show would be about. Of course, this is a reboot, so we had a lot of room to play and make it very modern and fun. And most notably, my character being openly gay was not something that could have been aired and acceptable on the original sitcom. So it's really cool to be that kind of catalyst for such characters to be like introduced into
Hmm.
the industry. So it was really cool just to have the opportunity to play a character like that.
Okay, so let's talk about the premise of the show. The premise is that you are part of a class of gifted students at a school, and the class is getting a new teacher who is kind of different in her methods, right?
Yes. So We're a very tight knit group of kids who we're GPA obsessed. We're worried about school all the time. It's school day in, day out. And our new teacher, Alicia Gomez, played by Isabella Gomez, gives us a new perspective and teaches us that we can have fun while still being these GPA obsessed, school obsessed kids. We learn to, we all become closer as the season goes on, and we learn a lot of life lessons through the season, and it's really heartwarming to see it all come together. So,
Has it been difficult balancing acting life and continuing your education and making sure that things go right with that? Being a person, being a kid, or growing up as a teenager outside of the television spotlight or the theater spotlight, has it been difficult to balance that?
definitely in the beginning, of course, it was a little overwhelming having to balance schoolwork and being on a TV show. Um, but we filmed through the summer, so I had a lot of free time. And of course, the cast is an ensemble of kids, so it was easy to have somebody to vent to and have someone relate to what you're going through. So I think that was definitely an advantage for me. Uh, just like kind of easily stepping into like balancing the work and school life.
Okay. After working on this, are you excited maybe to, I don't know, maybe go on to another season of this show or maybe move on to some other projects?
I am definitely looking forward to see if our show gets picked up for a second season. I'm really hoping it does. I love this cast, the crew, the production, everything about it. And I do think I'm going to do this for the rest of my life, and I would hope that I have many opportunities in the future to continue working in my dream field. So hopefully, I would love to be in a couple movies at some point,
Mhm.
another TV show here and there. So
We're talking with Adrian Escalona of Blairsville, who is now one of the stars of the ensemble cast of Head of the Class, which is going to debut today on HBO Max and across streaming platforms. So, Adrian, when you first got offered the role for this show, Head of the Class, what was your initial reaction? And and whenever you said yes, what was the excitement like for you?
well, okay, so I took a pretty long break from acting. There was just a couple bad experiences I had, and I really lost my passion for it.
Hmm.
And this was my first audition back into like the swing of things, and I wasn't very confident in myself. Um, and the audition process took quite a long time. But when I finally got the call, I was completely overwhelmed and just so happy. Um, and it like reignited my passion for acting, and I was just so excited to get started. Uh, and here we are today, and now I want to do it for the rest of my life. So I'd say it went pretty good.
I'd say it went pretty good as well. Is there anyone that you look up to as far as acting goes?
Hmm. Truthfully, I think our director Phil Lewis,
Hmm.
uh, he was just a great mentor for me, and he was such a great guy to be around, always lifting the mood. Um, Truthfully, anybody that I work with, obviously, because of course I have very little experience, the entire cast was very open and welcoming, and it was great to learn from them. And they were willing to teach me um, all the behind the scenes tricks and all the ways of the film world. So,
Excellent, excellent, excellent. So, Head of the Class debuts today on HBO Max. Adrian, thank you very much for joining us on Indiana in the Morning. We wish you nothing but success, and please keep us posted if there's going to be a second season.
alrighty, thank you for having me.